Welcome back to Smarter with Me, your place for all things to build your brain power. Are you revising for your GCSEs but struggling to remember all that information? Spending hours with your head buried in books can feel overwhelming, especially if you're not using the right techniques. In this video, we'll show you 5 proven study methods that will help you retain more information in less time. From active recall to the Pomodoro technique, these simple strategies will transform the way you study and help you ace your exams. Let's dive in. Technique 1, Active Recall. Test yourself, don't just read. First up is active recall, one of the most powerful and scientifically backed revision methods. Many students make the mistake of reading and rereading their notes, thinking it'll help the information sink in. But passive reading does little to challenge your brain, and it can often feel like you're revising without truly understanding or remembering anything. Active recall is the exact opposite. Instead of just absorbing information, you're actively retrieving it from memory. This forces your brain to engage with the material in a deeper way, making it easier to remember when exam day comes around. How to do it: read a section of your notes or textbook. Close the book and try to recall everything you've just learned from memory. Write down or speak out loud the key points. Use flashcards or apps to test yourself on the material later. You can make active recall even more effective by using flashcards. Write a question on one side and the answer on the other. Every time you get the answer right, move that card to the back of the pile. This technique can be done with pen and paper, or even better, with a digital flashcard app like Anki or Quizlet, which allows you to track your progress over time. Technique 2, Spaced Repetition. Review material at increasing intervals. Our second technique is spaced repetition, a method designed to help you store information in your long-term memory. It's based on the idea that we forget things over time unless we review them at specific intervals. If you've ever crammed for a test the night before, you've probably noticed how quickly that information fades afterward. Spaced repetition combats this. Here's how it works: instead of revising a topic once and moving on, you review it several times, but with increasing gaps between each review session. This way, you refresh your memory just before you're about to forget the material, helping it stick. How to do it: study a topic once on day 1. Review it on day 3, then day 7, day 14, and so on. Use a spaced repetition app like Anki to automate the process. There are several apps available, like Anki, that use algorithms to space out your revision automatically based on how well you remember each topic. You'll get reminders when it's time to review, ensuring that you keep reinforcing your knowledge at the optimal intervals. Technique 3, the Feynman technique. Teach the material to someone else. The Feynman technique is named after the legendary physicist Richard Feynman, and it's a fantastic way to deepen your understanding of difficult topics. The idea is simple: if you can explain something in a way that a complete beginner would understand, then you truly know it. Too often, students think they understand a topic just because it sounds familiar, but when asked to explain it clearly, they struggle. This technique forces you to break down complex concepts into simpler terms, exposing any gaps in your knowledge. How to do it: pick a topic you're struggling with. Imagine you're teaching it to a younger sibling or a friend. If you get stuck or can't explain something clearly, go back to your notes and refine your understanding. Repeat until you can explain the concept fluently. You don't need an actual student to do this. You can teach an empty chair, write it out on paper, or even record yourself explaining the topic. When you hit a stumbling block, that's your cue to revisit that section and study it further. Technique 4, Mind Mapping. Visualize complex information. Mind mapping is a visual learning technique that helps you break down complex topics and see how different ideas connect. It's perfect for subjects with lots of interrelated details, like history or biology. By creating a mind map, you can organize large amounts of information in a way that makes it easier to remember. Instead of writing out long paragraphs of notes, mind maps let you condense key ideas into a visual format. You start with a central topic and then branch out into subtopics, each with its own details. It's great for seeing the big picture and helps you spot connections between concepts that you might not notice in linear notes. How to do it: Write the main topic in the center of a page. Branch out into subtopics, using arrows or lines to connect them. Add key points, details, or examples to each subtopic. Use colors and images to make it more memorable. Mind maps are especially useful for visual learners because they engage both sides of the brain, one for logical connections and the other for creativity. Adding colors and images can make the map more engaging and easier to recall during exams. Technique 5, Pomodoro Technique. Study in focused intervals. Finally, we have the Pomodoro Technique, a time management method designed to improve your focus and productivity during revision. It's named after the Italian word for tomato because its creator used a tomato-shaped kitchen timer to time his study sessions. Here's how it works. You break your study time into 25-minute intervals, known as pomodoros, followed by short 5-minute breaks. After 4 pomodoros, take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. This keeps your brain fresh and prevents burnout, especially during long study sessions. The beauty of the Pomodoro technique is that it helps you manage distractions and maintain your energy levels. Knowing you only have 25 minutes to work makes it easier to stay focused, and the regular breaks help you avoid feeling overwhelmed. So there you have it, 5 effective study techniques that can completely transform the way you revise for your GCSEs. Whether it's using active recall to test yourself, practicing spaced repetition to cement your knowledge, or staying focused with the Pomodoro technique, these strategies will help you retain more information and study smarter, not harder. Like, share, and subscribe for more study tips and GCSE revision hacks. Stay tuned for our next video on mastering exam techniques.